This episode of Soldier Knows Best is brought to you by Netflix. Hey, what's up guys, Soldier Knows Best here. This video is going to be my review of the Oppo Find 5. I know it's a very weird name, but this is a very powerful Android smartphone that just came out to the market. And of course, it's not coming from one of the major players like Samsung or ACC, but this phone is packing some pretty impressive specs, and I'm going to see where this phone is going to stack up against all the other Android smartphones on the market right now. So I'm just going to start the review with the design and the hardware. Now overall, this phone is very well built. It's solid, but it does come in a little bit heavier than other smartphones on the market. It comes in at 5.8 ounces, but because it's only 0.35 inches thick, it is very nice to hold in your hand, one of the thinnest smartphones on the market right now. And as we make our way around the device, on the left-hand side, you will find the power button. Next to that is the SIM card slot. And on the right-hand side, you will find the volume rocker. On the bottom, you'll find a micro USB port. And then at the top, you'll also find a 3.5mm headphone jack. And so even though this phone is big, all the buttons are placed in a manner where they're going to be easy to reach while you're holding it with one hand. But the true star attraction of this phone is its screen. It has a 5-inch 1080p screen that has 441 ppi, that's pixels per inch, and you compare that to the iPhone 5's 326 ppi, is definitely bringing the heat. Now, although a lot of applications and websites aren't really optimized to take advantage of this beautiful screen, the stock icons in the OS and everything with the OS, including the wallpapers, really do stand out. Then you also combine this edge-to-edge glass display with a bezel that's only 3.25 millimeters thick. This thing is just, the screen will really wow you the first time you turn it on, and every single time I've been using it, I still kind of take a note of just how good the screen looks. And that's going to dive into some of the internal specs of this phone. It is featuring a Qualcomm quad-core 1.5 gigahertz processor. It does come with 2 gigabytes of RAM. You can get either 16 or 32 gigabytes of internal storage. And this phone does have NFC, but one thing it is missing is LTE. But it does work on HSPA+, and also this is a GSM phone, so it'll be working with AT&T and T-Mobile here in the States. But if you're a Verizon customer or on another carrier that uses CDMA, you're going to be out of luck with this phone. And also, this phone has a 2500 milliamp battery, which is not going to last you the entire day. But if you do turn the brightness down on this big screen, it'll definitely last you through the majority of the day. Now let's go to move on to the cameras. Now the front-facing camera on this Oppo Find 5 is a 1.9 megapixel shooter that can take 720p HD video, and it can take some pretty nice video for a front-facing camera. Then as we move on to the back, you'll find a 13 megapixel camera that has an aperture at f2.2, which should be good for low light situations, especially indoors. And so this camera can take some impressive shots indoors, especially if you have an adequate amount of natural light. But I did find that the video was lacking a little bit, especially with focusing indoors. But when you do go outside, not only the videos, but the pictures do get better as well. And as you can see from these shots, the Oppo Find 5's camera, just like its screen, is probably one of the best on the market. And I would say this camera really comes up second to the Nokia 808 PureView as far as having one of the best cameras. And a couple other cool features that the cameras can do. It can also take HDR pictures and video. And again, they were kind of hit and miss, just like the indoor shots, but at least it does have that feature. And this is all hardware supported too. So while you're taking HDR video, there's really no lagging, anything like that. It kind of just takes the video, processes it very quickly, and boom, you're ready to use it. And this camera can also do 120 frames per second video recording, and it can also do slow-mo video recording as well. But both of these are at 480p, so the quality is not going to be that great. All right, so that's all the hardware. Now it's going to talk about the software. Now underneath this phone is running Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, but like most other Android cell phones, it does have a skin on top of that. But unlike other skin versions of Android, this version isn't too outlandish. Everything is pretty bold and fresh. I love the way the icons look, especially a lot of the stock icons, but I'm not a big fan of the stock widgets that came with this version of OS, so I quickly replaced those with my other widgets. But other than that, most of these stock applications are on the simple side. They don't really have a lot going on with them, but there are some little tweaks in the software, like the ability to schedule when you want to send a message out to certain people. I'm talking about like a text message, and also the text messaging application has a lot of different features that you can do to it that give this OS its own personal feel. And I do like the way this OS handles multitasking. If you hold the home button for a couple seconds, it'll bring up this multitasking pane. And you can swipe through all your different open applications, and then if you want to close out a certain app, just swipe up and it'll get rid of it. Or you can just press that little broom icon at the bottom and just close all of the applications and free up your memory. Now, as far as performance, this phone definitely ranks at the top of the pack when it comes to my benchmarking test that I did with Geekbench and also Quadrant. It definitely was ranking amongst the top Android smartphones out in the market right now. Now, lastly, as far as call quality, it was good. People can hear me, I can hear them clearly, and that's it. The calls were good. All right, so that about wraps up my review of this Oppo Find 5. Now, what are my final thoughts about this phone? Well, this phone hardware-wise is very well built. It's pretty solid, and the screen is easily probably the best screen on a cell phone right now on the market. It's very beautiful to look at. And then the camera on this phone is easily one of the best on the market right now, especially for its pictures. And then the performance was definitely up there with other top Android smartphones. But now this phone does have a couple glaring negatives to it. One is going to be the lack of LTE, which is pretty much the standard now on smartphones. And then two is going to be the price point. So they sell the international version of this phone on their website, starting off at $499 for the 16GB version. And then the 32GB version of this phone is going to be running you $569. So at least for right now, you can't get this phone subsidized in the store, so you're gonna be paying kind of full price for this phone. And so with that price point, I don't see a lot of people justifying buying this phone really just for its big, beautiful screen, and it's not really bringing a whole bunch of features that other smartphones already have in the market that it can get for around 200 bucks. But if you are deciding to get this phone, I'll leave a link down below to the company's website. And before I do wrap up this video, let's go and take one let's look at our sponsor for this video. Today's sponsor is Netflix, and if you didn't know, Netflix can stream movies and TV shows to your TV set, your computer, your cell phone, your tablet via the Netflix application. It's also available on the Xbox 360, the PlayStation, Nintendo Wii. Almost everything now has a Netflix app for you to be able to watch all the TV shows and movies that you want to anytime that you want to. So if you want to go ahead and try out Netflix, you can go to netflix.com/soldier and get your free trial membership. Again, that's netflix.com/soldier. Alright guys, again, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment down below what you think about this Oppo Find 5 smartphone. Also, all my other links to all my social networks like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are down below. Click those and check me out over there. And thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you later. Peace.